Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with League of Legends NECC semifinals versus Depauw Esports. I'm your host, Henry Speedy Kill Ninja, and I am joined today by.
My name's Adam, codename Monsieur in for the Valpo Esports League of Legends team, mid laner and support. What do we got going on for us today, Henry?
Well, we're gonna hop right into draft semifinal game versus Depauw Esports. So huge game. Glad we could bring this one to you guys. Valpo going to be starting off on red side here. Um, being a support on or mid laner on the League of Legends team, what do you think our strategy is going into this one?
Well, I think if I really think that as people have realized throughout the course of NECC games so far this semester, Jimbo, our mid laner, is really kind of the crux of our team, and so the team making sure that they're playing around him, I think, is going to be really important, just determining on whether he's going to be if he's going to choose more of a scaling champion that just takes a little bit longer to ramp up, or if he's going to show us some quick moves right at the start of the game. I think the team comp really is going to be focused around Jakimbo this time, and we even see that a little bit in Depauw's starting bans, banning our junglers main, and also banning the Talia, who we've seen as kind of a big threat recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at bans and the first pick from DePaul, so taking away that Viego and that Zach from Super Bear, two of his probably most played picks in this NECC season, along with the Talia ban, which is kind of the Jikimbo special, and then Maokai, which is just super strong in the meta, can be flexed pretty much anywhere. But another pick that's really strong in the meta is Volibear here, so really excited to see this for R1 for Valpo Esports. And I think it's going to be interesting to see who we decide to give our counter pick to. Being on red side, that's kind of the big thing. You get that last pick, so we'll see if it goes to Jakimbo or Steamroller in the top lane. Valpo going into this one, just coming off a victory in the quarterfinals. They are the fourth seed in this tournament, taking on the one seed DePaul here. DePaul, I believe, going 6-1 in the regular season, and Valpo Esports going 5-2.
I believe so, 5-2. But
Sounds
we,
about right.
I was gonna say, been some close games throughout the semester, but Vepo Esports obviously always knowing how to take their wins and not only use the losses as growth opportunities, especially as from here on out these next at least two games, if with hopefully more, going to be a good challenge for Rebel Esports. But we do see the Varus pick by our ADC, so interesting to see that that good ultimate CC chain, especially against walls. But we do see that Depauw just goes and takes the Aatrox pick away from Eamon, our Steamroller, our top laner. So Aatrox has been a very comfortable pick for them. So it's interesting to see them choose Aatrox. But we also see a Twitch coming in, not only the place that we're not only the thing that we're using to stream, but also Twitch hasn't seemed too powerful in the meta. He's been kind of just like existing. A lot of these other champions have been seeing a little bit of kind of buffs, nerfs as it comes to pro play. So it's gonna be interesting to kind of see where the final pick for Vepel Esports is before our final two bans.
Yeah, Twitch definitely a hyper carry champion, so got to watch out too. Not super sure what the ranks are for DePaul across the board, but we'll get that Udyr. Udyr likely going to be a top laner here. Volibear likely in the jungle, but can be flexed either way. I think with the meta, how that's been going, we'll probably see Udyr top, Volley jungle. But then again, I haven't really been keeping up with these league patch notes as often, so
Well, no one would blame you. Patch notes every time just seem to keep wanting to change your game every 2 weeks. We even just saw now this is I think one of the latest patches, and even then it was 15 champions that were adjusted, along with Zazax and multiple other items just consistently being touched and adjusted. So never is any good time to actually understand the patch. But we quickly see Valpo Esports banning the Braum and DePaul continuing to ban against Jakimbo, specifically with the Aria. That's two of his picks. That's two of Jakimbo's picks down right now. But we're going to see with Valpo Esports solidifying that last ban, probably either for the mid or for the support.
yeah, so getting these bans coming through, and then Valpo will have the first pick here. We'll kind of see if they decide to go for that support pick. Likely will. At this point, they're probably looking at Jakimbo R5. But support picks that go well with Varus that are still on the table. I'm thinking traditionally Nautilus, but in the current meta, could maybe see a Senna still. Senna has been bouncing up and down a lot recently, pretty much every single patch. So I'm not sure if this is the patch they gutted her, buffed her back again, or what's going on with that. Do you have any insight onto this DePaul team on like what their ranks are, who we're kind of going to be looking at?
I do know specifically, Depauw Esports had faced DePauw, I believe, last semester, and at that point in time, I know that the biggest shakeup in their team, like player, co- um, their player base was that they have a Masters jungler now. So I'll be really interested to see, especially with the Viego, just watching hopefully to see a good performance by them, but obviously Valpo Esports is going to keep them on their toes. For the final bans we saw an Akali ban on Valpo Esports side, and then DePaul finalizes with a Hui ban. So again, that's 3 out of 5 bans just for our team's mid laner. But we do see the Renata Glass coming out, extremely strong team fighting, especially if Renata can get an ult right after Twitch uses their ultimate. That's just going to be a lot of free damage for the team, making sure to keep us safe. We saw the Leona hover for a second, but we're going to see a finalized Thresh pick. So keeping the team safe, and also Thresh is going to introduce a little bit of a scare with that permanent stacking of both armor and magic resistance from the souls. Stacking champions seem to have been doing pretty well recently, in the current meta, so we'll be very interested to see Thresh go into kind of a more longer the game goes, kind of the better it is for Thresh. But we see the final pick of the Pot Esports into a Syndra. Once again, kind of a semi-scaling champion. Syndra takes a little bit of time to go online, but if I'm reading the draft correctly, it looks like Jimbo's going to answer with his own scaling champion, that being Aurelion Sol. But I could be wrong in the next few seconds as they keep hovering.
Yeah, I think I really like this Renata Glass pick, having some disengage. You got a lot of get on me champions from DePaul so far here. And the Soul, not really sure how it's been in the meta. Jakimbo playing Soul a lot, pretty much since the rework, has been one of his core champions. When he's strong in the meta, post 30 minutes, if he's able to get ahead, get a lot of stacks up, I mean, the game is pretty much over. I mean, Jakimbo takeover incoming is kind of what the hope is. But I mean, matching that Syndra who also stacks. So gonna be important there. Gonna have a lot of mixed damage here. Udyr, Varus, and Volibear also having AP too. Volibear probably traditionally building that AD tank build. Udyr, not really sure. Kind of just goes tank and Varus. Could go that lethality, could go the on hit. Will likely go lethality here against the Twitch, against the Syndra, having kind of that one shot potential. Viego also not really a frontliner. But yeah, I mean, what do you think the lane to watch is going to be here?
Well, I wish I could say that mid lane would be the most interesting. I know it's
Yeah,
not. Acel and Sidra both are going to require stacks to get online, so I think unless we see some good unless we see some good Valpo Esports roaming, I quite honestly think a lane to be very interested is bot lane as almost always, both between the Varus and Radaglask and the Twitch and Thresh. It's going to be a very interesting fight both sides, especially as both of them look to get online, especially with the good poke damage from Varus, and even Renata Glass at level 3, that bailout to give Varus that tiny bit of extra chance to survive, and even if they do if they do go down, they still have that 3 extra seconds, which you would know as well as I do that 3 seconds can make the world of difference, especially in an early ADC fight. At least making them even, if not making Varus just get a little bit faster due to that attack speed buff.
yeah. Unfortunately, haven't gotten to see too much League of Legends on stream this semester, but glad to have it back today. Got a few newer picks this time, with the meta always constantly adapting. But really excited to see this team in a big game. We are going to take a short break for spectator delay, but we will be right back once we head into the game. And welcome back, guys, to Valpo Esports League of Legends versus Depauw University in the NECC Semifinals.
For the game one, we're gonna quickly see as both Depauw will be on the left, will be blue side, and Beppo Esports on the right. We're gonna see that Beppo Esports takes a five-man point, just watching for any ganks, and we do see that Depauw kind of matches the same, if not their support speed just a little bit back. Just looking at the quick starting items, we see a good mix of both rings and Doran's blades with the extra potions. Syndra rocking the minion dematerializers, which is a little bit interesting for her. Normally, I'd expect to see those on Aurelion Sol, but I know that Jakimbo has plans. I probably don't.
Really
So
important for both of these mid laners to last hit those cannon minions, not only for the gold, but also for the stacks. So maybe Jakimbo just feeling a lot more confident than Syndra about that. As far as summoner spells, do see that Ghost from Udyr is standard, but something notable. And then also the Cleanse from Twitch and from Varus. So double cleanse in the bot lane here, only going to have one combat summoner. Anyways, looks like both junglers are starting topside. Paul will give a leash to their Viego here, so Valpo might be able to see where they're starting based off these leashes, seeing that their bot lane might get there early, but looks like Thresh and Twitch are going to wait to show in their lane, but might be able to make the assumption.
I might be able to, and it looks like just looking from the scoreboard at the top, Aatrox looks like they took a tiny bit of health from helping Viego with that camp. So Beppo Esports is looking, it looks like they're going to be able to. We see some quick pokes and some quick fun being traded at top lane. Udyr is stronger than Aatrox up until about level 2, 3, just because that's where Aatrox unlocks a lot of his Omnivamp and heal and his chains. We do see Beppo Esports taking the level 2 lead early, so hoping to push in Thresh and Twitch. We just see some quick pokes also from Aurelion Sol towards Syndra.
Yeah, all Valpo Esports laning phases so far, having that push, having that lane prio, so definitely going to help out Super Bear when it comes to this time of this first scuttle. But having lane prio this early in the game is really important. Once the junglers like get through that first clear and stuff, you just got to be careful that you are a little ganks acceptable. But already do see this ward in the tri-brush for the bot lane, so Valpo Esports should be pretty safe if they can spot that out in time. But just getting a standard full clear from both junglers. Like you said, I think this Udyr is going to have some lane dominance in the first couple levels. Probably by around level 6, it's going to start to favor Aatrox. So Udyr really looking to build up this lead while he can.
I was gonna say even just looking at that, even just looking at clear speeds, both Volley and Viego both about ready to both about probably for about a 320, 325 clear. So probably wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a little bit of a kerfuffle in the river surrounding Dragon as we go for a potential fight for Scuttle. We do see Viego coming around, but noticed on the vision immediately. Things issued as well. Jimbo getting poked down a little bit by Syndra. Just gotta watch Jimbo's gotta watch his health a little bit. Again, Aatrox going in for those fun little Q hits. Udyr is taking some damage on that Omnivamp.
Gonna have a counter gank coming in.
Oh, we see no. I was gonna say counter gank. We see the Aurelion Sol flash just to get out. We see the Volibear holding Volibear flash to get it, but we also see the Viego go dash away. Taking a quick look at the benefits. Kimbo did technically lose that just a little bit by taking 2 flashes from both Volley and Aurelion Sol to only the Viego's flash. But again, still too soon to really tell. Still too soon to tell.
Valpo does get that double scuttle. Unfortunately, I don't really like that flash from Super Bear because it was very unlikely that you were going to be able to find that kill. But nonetheless, does force Viego to back. Gonna have a gank here in the top lane. Volibear coming in, finds the stun. E comes down. Gonna be a 2v1 here. Aatrox opts to flash away.
And Udyr takes that first kill, giving first blood to Valpo Esports and giving Super Bear some much needed early gold. Again, Aatrox used flash, and Udyr had to burn no summoners, and because we already watched Volibear use some, what was the slight summoner gap now turns back into being slightly positive towards Valpo Esports with Aatrox burning his teleport to get back to the lane quickly. Jakimbo also had burned his TP just to keep where summoners are. Just keep
Yeah.
where summoners are going.
Udyr is going to TP in there. Did have the shove after that kill, but still opts to TP. Really smart gank there by Super Bear. Able to catch that Aatrox out. And opts to give the kill to the Udyr. I mean, you saw him kind of standing there as extra security. So hopefully that little boost in gold, in economy, will help this Udyr kind of get through this laning base, because it can be tricky versus Aatrox. But we do see Depauw starting to gather some vision, starting to position around this dragon. While Valpo, meanwhile, is just kind of taking camps here. It looks like Viego is currently on this dragon. So definitely something to keep an eye out for.
But we do see the level 6 on both sides from top laners. Both obviously Aatrox's ultimate can be extremely threatening if used correctly. And we're going to see that Aatrox does get a good bit of damage in towards Udyr, but we also do see that that the quick thinking does make it take the tower hit to make it a little bit more even. We do see the Aatrox ultimate. Oh, and it's just gonna barely not be enough to kill the Udyr in the top lane.
Yeah, and TP is down, so Udyr gonna miss out on a wave here, and the next one looks like Aatrox is, kind of just forcing him off that XP. Valpo opted to give that dragon, had bot lane on a reset, as well as Volibear kind of taking these camps. Don't see too many pings around these Void Grubs. Would like to see Valpo kind of go for that, but will actually find a gank on this Aatrox here. Big shield from the Udyr, gonna keep him alive. Finds the stun and the E, so this Aatrox was 2 deaths already. Great awareness by Super Bear there. And hopefully, eventually, we might decide to go for these objectives. Does get a ward on it. But yeah, anyways, I think Valpo in good position here. Does have an 800k gold lead. Do have to note the dragon for Depauw. But Valpo is so far in a good spot, especially on this top side.
I was gonna say 100% have to agree with you. We also know that Aatrox is just gonna have to take a sweet time getting back to base or getting back to top lane. And even though he was kind of proxying Udyr, he wasn't actually getting any really soaking up much XP or CS himself. So Aatrox is still looking about even, and with that with the Udyr kill and the extra assist, kind of about 15 gold. But we do see that. Viego does take partial Void Grubs, and we also saw that Volley took partial Void Grubs.
Yep. So I think 2 went over to Depauw there, only 1 to Valpo. Super Bear opting to back off there. Did have Udyr shoving in that wave, and by the time he was able to rotate to the Void Grubs, Aatrox was back. Depauw had prio mid lane. So not great timing on that one. Depauw will pick up a 2-for-1 there on the Void Grubs, but as long as Valpo is able to get 2 in total, they'll be fine. So not overly worried about it, but we'll see for these next objective timers. They will be a little bit staggered with Dragon coming up in 3 minutes, and I think Void Grubs will be a little bit after that. What Valpo decides to prio, and you're going to be able to see that through the vision they try and capture before these objectives come up.
I was gonna say, even while we're on the look of priority, let's take a quick look at how the rest of the lanes are doing. It's just kind of in top-down order. Top lane looking a little bit more solid. Aatrox is slightly more CS, but again, the kill and the assist, gold and XP that Udyr got makes them slightly stronger top side. Looking at jungle, obviously Volley has gotten both kill and assist as well, making jungle just a little bit more on the impactful side. We are seeing that Jakimbo's down around 10 CS, but we do see that Dark Seal on Aurelion Sol. So as soon as Aurelion Sol starts getting some stacks, could be a powerhouse. Again, Dark Seal is a feast or famine item. The more kills or assists that you get, the stronger that item becomes, but you do lose a significant amount of power if you are to ever die with it. Bot lane looking about even, Twitch slightly ahead, especially more with a probably more recent back. Thanks for going up those gold calculations. just about 200 gold under, but we also do see that the support is around 100 gold up. So all in all for bot side, just right around even, if not around 50 extra gold towards Depauw on the bot lane. But again, we see that Valpo Esports is about 700 gold ahead.
Yeah, big lead in the jungle for Valpo. Start to look at these builds. You do see Varus going lethality here as Twitch does pop the cleanse and the ultimate here, so having a little bit of an all-in on Varus. Thresh and Viego going to be down in the area for a dive. Renata's got to get there quick.
Oh, but the
Oh,
the final poison proc
that
does
finds
him
the
in. Is the
execute.
Aatrox
Oh,
does die there
solo bolo in the top lane.
from the ice storm. I don't think Aatrox or quite honestly Udyr maybe have been fully expecting that. That now puts our first bounty on the board to our Udyr, and once again Aatrox's teleport is still down, which means that Udyr is going to get a lot of. As Udyr should get at least one, if not two turret plates, making them get another 500-600 gold lead.
Yeah, Valpo's top lane just steamrolling it. I mean, just absolutely rolling over this top laner right now. Did have some help from Super Bear to kind of get him ahead in this lane. But able to find that solo kill. So this Aatrox is 0-3, and realistically, like, kind of keeping him out of the game, at least for the next, like, 10-15 minutes, is going to have a tough time finding his way back into this one. Continuing on this build discussion, you do see, you see Renata actually coming to mid though, so might actually want to talk about that. But anyways, see Aurelion Soul going for that Dark Seal like you said, but also the Giant's Belt starting that a little safer. We'll see hopefully a Roa on this back. If not, just some more components built towards it. Varus Lethality, Udyr going tank here. And then both Volley and Viego going that AD item. I forget what it's called, that AD jungle. That common item.
Oh, it's the brutalizer. The brutalizer. That's.
I don't know. I build it all the time. I don't even know what it's called.
We are going to see with Valpo Esports significant gold. I shouldn't even say significant gold, but with their pressure, able to get Kempted Drink, which gives us an Infernal Soul. For those of you who have tuned into previous streams, honestly, one of my personal favorites is the Infernal Soul, just because of the new rework that it got in 14.0. Always feels weird what season it is. The little embers just give a little bit of extra ability haste and an extra little bit of movement speed. So watching those be gathered just is a good way for people to keep going. Well, we do see that the chain does miss on the Aatrox. Aatrox popping the ultimate once again.
Viego rotating up for this. Got to be careful. Did see Viego capture that first Void Grub. If you're Valpo, really don't want to see all three of those go over to them, but you do have Valpo positioned around this bot side here. So it looks like they're going to opt to give this one. That will secure, I believe, 5 for the side of Depauw. We'll take a quick peek. We'll click on him and see.
I forgot it never actually showed.
I don't even think it shows up.
It doesn't show, which is I thought very interesting.
Almost positive it's 5. Well, they haven't completed the camp yet, actually. But it is 4-1 in favor of Depauw on those Void Grubs. But do have Volibear in the area. Udyr with Prio after that really good trade, almost finding the kill on Aatrox again. But Valpo up 3-1 here, up 500 gold in a pretty solid spot, even in drags. Only favor for Depauw. Oh, big Flash Flay coming in. Oh,
Flash Evade from that hook.
yeah.
And we do see that red side. Volibear does take at least one other Void Grub, so I think this does make it. I think this makes it 4-2.
4-2, which is completely fine for Valpo. That fifth one is really where it builds a big advantage.
And the quick little Varus snipe just preventing Syndra from backing for at least another 4 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, gonna force out a TP for sure. Might have had a TP anyways, but nice little Q there. You see these trades starting to go towards Aatrox's way here with the healing coming out, and no Bramble Vest out yet for Volley.
But we are just watching Udyr do a little dance on top of Aatrox, really making sure that he's keeping it in for all that it's worth. Once again, still seeing that gold bounty is still existing on Udyr just a tiny bit, and even though Depauw Esports is up almost 300, Aurelion Soul is keeping pace with Syndra, and to keep pace with a not infinitely scaling laner is all the more threatening for Depauw. It's only 13 minutes in, but we're already going to start noticing a little bit of that stacking difference. But we're going to see some more skirmishes. The ultimate popped by Aatrox, and Udyr just running back to the safety of tower.
Yeah, a lot of shielding and healing with that empowered W on Udyr. But you see Aatrox pop the ultimate, and you just kind of walk out. I mean, there's no reason to fight him. Udyr doesn't really have a traditional ultimate there, so there's not really much he can match him with. But, just living to fight another day, really like that. And now he is up and healthier. Aatrox looking to recall. Do have this Rift Herald up, next big objective, along with this first dragon in the Infernal Soul up in 2 minutes.
I was gonna say, looking at this, we do see we were talking about a Rod of Ages pick up for the Aurelion Soul.
Rylai's actually.
Rylai, sorry. I thought you said Roa before, and I was like, I think Rylai's is a little bit better. We do see the Viego clearing towards. We also see that Syndra and Asol around the same in terms of items. The CS, or the minion kills advantage from Syndra, did lead very quickly to a 150 gold bounty, which is already gone as Reliant, so it kind of takes it even. Just that light E for poke. We do see that it's going to be a 4v, potentially 3,
Udyr
with
does
no
have
bush.
TP if he wants to try and find a ward to TP to here.
As I say, just some quick light pokes. The pod does take the Rift Herald and kind of evening that gold lead out. But again, no blood spilled on either side. Just everyone going back to kind of the status quo. Just got to be careful now with the Viego having the Rift Herald.
Yeah, both teams committing 4 members to that. Unfortunately, the sport for Valpo comes in a little late, and then Steamroller just reset to base. But do see Volley looking in the mid lane here, kind of rotating that vision down to the bot side. Do have this Infernal Dragon coming up in 35 seconds. Really like to see Valpo kind of take prio on that, and it looks like they're trying to at the moment. This mid prio is going to be tricky for Valpo to find because the Syndra's been playing very clean thus far.
Syndra has been playing very clean, and speaking of her playing clean, her 150 gold bounty is back up just from that CS lead, and we also do see that the Twitch also has restored has a
Yeah,
150 gold bounty. And
both members at 10 CS a minute, which is very good, very good.
very strong. We do see a late skirmish. We see the ultimate coming out from Varus. We do see the Aurelion Soul ultimate almost finishing up that kill. And we're going to see that it's a 4v3 skirmish. We do see the Renata Glass ult, which I'm pretty sure might have saved the Volley Bear, but we are seeing the resets from Viego. We see the TP coming in from Aatrox, and we also see it coming in from Udyr. We do see that's going to be a very interesting fight. Acel getting out with the W and also just trying to get some extra stacks. It is going to look like that the Udyr does get shut down by the Aatrox, making this an ultimately net loss for Rebel Esports for their first engage. But still not too bad, as we know the Reliant Soul got a significant number of stacks and some good ultimates along the way.
Yeah, 4 for 1 there for Depauw, looking really strong in that team fight. Aatrox not able to find the kill here. Acel likely will not want to chase that one.
Just a little bit, no, and I really thought that Renata Glass ult was going to be enough to at least save the Volley Bear, but the TP that came in and the final hits from Syndra was just enough to kind of finish up those two low health people on Valpo Esports.
Yeah, and they were chasing that Twitch, forcing the Twitch flash and cleanse, but with that ultimate got out so much damage on the 3 members of Valpo. So we're eventually able to find that kill, but they were so low when these TPs came in and the Syndra rotated down. That Valpo overextended a little bit in that fight, did have the very clean early pick on the Thresh, kind of kept chasing that Twitch, and the Twitch made him pay for it. I mean, he just had so much DPS, already had his board finished there. But we'll see a little bit of a trade go up here in the top lane.
I was gonna say, as we kind of just watch this trade again, just kind of looking at the results of that final skirmish, that put Depauw Esports about up 1,000 gold. But we did see that Depauw did commit 6 summoner spells to that fight, whereas Valpo Esports only committed 4. So while obviously the gold is not as ideal, having them commit 2 additional summoners does at least look like for the next objective, which does look to be Baron Nashor in a minute 40, that Valpo Esports will have more summoners available for it. Ultimates will be up by the time that Baron is.
Which doesn't have the cleanse up this time, so not able to finish off that kill, but comes in invis, able to get a lot of damage out on Dreadful and force him off that wave. But I think Depauw in a much better spot. They are 5-5 in kills, but that team fight was a huge swing for them.
I was gonna say it's still anyone's game, but definitely that team fight did make the momentum swing a little bit from Valpo Esports back to Depauw. Just again looking, we see the Rift Herald being dropped mid lane. Again, Valpo Esports will probably be looking at losing the end of that the end of that first tower. We do see the ult from Jakimbo just barely hitting the Syndra, giving him that 5 extra stacks. We do see the Thresh pulling the Lantern to get Syndra back to safety.
Yeah, so that first turret for Depauw going to be huge, able to kind of open up that map on top of the first turret, extra gold that you get there. But this mid lane tier 1 turret is really important to get. Typically you don't see it taken down later in the games because the side lane turrets are a little bit easier to get, but really going to open up the map for him for these next couple dragons, for this Bear and Prio. So nice utilization of the Rift Herald there, able to find a turret.
I was gonna say, yeah, just continue to watch the Udyr skirmish. We do see the teleport coming in from what will be the Syndra. They're kind of a little interested as to
Yep.
why that
Can't
TP
can't
came in.
really TP like that onto an Udyr, just because he just walks away.
Especially, I would say, especially because the Udyr wasn't even fully committed. Udyr was just kind of going in and poking and going out. The Syndra TP was, I think, a really bad misplay just because
Might have just like wanted to swap lanes to move to a side lane. Kind of do see the Aatrox rotating his way down. But yeah, probably not an ideal TP. We'll see if the Udyr can kind of run down. We'll see the ghost popped here. Not able to find the stun yet.
There was the stun, but the edge of Banshee's Veil proccing. Syndra missing the ball W for the stun, which is that hit. Syndra does have ult, and I'm pretty sure at this point might have enough stacks for the enhanced execute rate. We are going to see Jakimbo maybe getting put out. We see that the ult is going to be barely not enough to survive the Aatrox, but we do see it's three-man top against Udyr. Udyr does fall. Depauw Esports needed to keep a little bit closer eye out on, especially more vision recently than caught
Yeah,
out.
gotta have better vision, better communication there. Have three members collapse on Valpo there, and unfortunately, Valpo was not able to rotate there in time. Aatrox dropping to nearly 1 HP there, gets hit by that extra turret shot. But we'll find another turret here, and we'll take another wave and then reset. Does know have all members of Valpo accounted for here. Dreadful. Smart decision staying back on this turret. Always got to be wary of where this Twitch is going invis. And you know, with all these plays, objectives happening, Depauw finds a 5k gold lead, and objective bounties will be available for Valpo Esports here soon.
I was gonna say it's looking a little even in the CS lead. We were talking earlier that most teams were keeping about pretty even. Depauw Esports about at least 20, if not 30, up on almost every lane except for jungle and support. Depauw Esports really just seeing, I think just take a deep breath and realize that the game is not over. Not by far. They have one of the strongest scaling. They still have one of the strongest scaling champions in the game. That is. And if I know Jakimbo at this point, probably at least around 200 stacks, even with maybe the not as amazing performance that he would otherwise be expecting.
Yeah, I mean, this CS from Depauw is just kind of crazy. I mean, it's not really Valpo like having bad CS, it's just them having really good CS, still at 10 CS a minute from, you know, Syndra and Twitch, who really thrive off gold and need that gold income, and they're able to find it just through last-hitting minions.
I was gonna say, even looking now, we see
Huge
that the hook gets hit by the Volibear. Volibear ults to disengage. We do see that the bailout is on the Volibear. Volibear does just decide to keep running. We do see a 2-person hit from that, 4-person hit from the Jakimbo ult, but unfortunately, I think that Jakimbo does escape just barely though. And once again for Depauw, that was a 2-0 in terms of kills, and with that, Depauw might be looking to take this Baron.
Yeah, turn their attention to the Baron here. I mean, that was a well-executed fight by Depauw, finding that hook, able to jump in. Volley ulting out, but the damage had already been done. Having that bailout come, but just not enough damage from the side of Valpo just yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
are we gonna see an exit? No, just a tiny.
Yeah, Valpo might be able to contest here. Don't have a lot of DPS from Depauw. A lot of big summoner spells and ultimates used
especially
here.
after Fresh having to disengage from this fight.
Could be huge for Valpo. This is their chance.
This is the chance for Valpo. Will Reliance? We do see that they do come back in. But, okay. The bailout. We do see that the shutdown on the Viego preventing more resets. Udyr is still low, but we are going to probably see that Volibear will be able to knock this Syndra, making this a 2-2. We are seeing that the Aatrox is getting baited towards the Varus, but the Varus does kite successfully. Udyr just barely not getting out.
And that is catastrophic for Valpo Esports. Really would have liked to see them not go for the 50-50 and just kind of chase for kills there and kind of peel that Viego away a little bit. Did have kind of a window of opportunity there to find some shutdowns to take the Baron, but unfortunately, you know, just turns badly and going to extend this lead for Depauw. Sorry about the spectator bug. Should be up in just a second. But anyways, I think that is an opportunity that Valpo Esports really has to go for. Should reconnect eventually.
Hopefully. But yeah, I was gonna say, just looking at that team fight, bringing them up around another 400 or another 300, 400, 3,000, 4,000 gold. My bad. And as we still wait for as we still wait for spectator to come back to us, we are gonna probably see them. We're gonna probably see them go for a quick infernal, but we'll have to wait until the game catches up for us to see. So, pardon the technical difficulties for 1 second. And it looks like that we're back.
Hopefully. But yeah, anyways, I feel like that's a moment for Valpo Esports where you're really kind of forced to go for broke and just hope for the best. Um, I don't mind that play. That's really where they needed the game to turn around. It does look like we are stuck here. So unfortunately, we will hop to a short break and hopefully be back with the rest of game one. Hey, what's up, guys? Coming back just to kind of explain the situation here on our end. So the Riot client spectator is currently down. The game just ended, so we're gonna go out, find an update, but we'll be back with the stream in game two and give you guys the result, kind of the rundown, what happened in the game end of game one. But apologies, and hopefully, this Riot spectate client will work next time. But should be back in a few minutes for game two draft, and we'll see you guys shortly. Sorry about that. Quick update. Depauw did end up winning game one, taking that Baron and kind of just slowly chokeholding out Valpo. Had that 10K gold lead and were just able to just execute at the end of the game. Had that huge team fight around Baron. Unfortunately, Spectator Client did go down, but we will be back in just a few short minutes with draft for game two. Once again, apologies, but Depauw taking game one here in this best of three semifinal series. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with game two of Depauw Esports versus Valpo Esports in this NECC semifinal game. Best of three here. So Valpo unfortunately losing in game one here. Hopefully, League Spectator decides to work fluidly for game two. Fingers crossed. Anyways, Valpo looking really good in the first 10 minutes there, building that gold lead steadily. And then DePaul, I think, played better around the objective timers and in team fights, just had very good execution. But I mean, Valpo, I think, put themselves in a pretty good spot in the first 10 minutes, just weren't able to execute when they needed to.
I'd have to completely agree with you. Just realizing that team comp, even when it wasn't towards Valpo Esports, I would say necessarily benefit early game, especially with that Aurelion Soul pick, really just kind of fell off, especially I think really just because of that lack of vision. We were seeing consistent ganks happening pretty quickly, just slowing down Valpo Esports' gain, even though they were able to get a good lead top. All it took was one good shutdown on that Rift Herald to cause Aatrox to catch back up. But enough about dwelling on the past game. We got a new game in front of us, and we're seeing Valpo Esports and Depauw Gold kind of sticking with their original three bans. And as soon as I say that, they decide to give Twitch ban. Really didn't appreciate the Twitch from the last game, and so what's a better way to not deal with it than to just have it banned outright in the first place?
Yeah, I think if they are going to have those CS numbers, really scary to have on a Twitch when you get to 2, 3 items. So I think if the game plan for Valpo is to kind of play towards that mid to late game, having that Twitch ban is a really good idea. Would love to see a blue B1 Jinx here for Dreadful in the bot lane. But really curious, this is going to show like what a lot of the strategy Valpo is going for. And do see that Chinks picked up in the first pick. Really like it. I mean, this is kind of what we're comfortable with, what works really well in this season, in this meta. And I love that we're coming back to this Jinx first pick.
I was going to say we've seen Dreadful in multiple games do extremely well on Jinx, probably one of, if not the strongest attack damage carries or ADCs in the game currently. So seeing what Depauw responds to will be interesting, and we're going to see the comfortable pick again back to Depauw. Hopefully it's going to be similar to what it was back to Arkansas State. We saw that kind of going for a little bit more of reach picks. Valpo didn't do the best, but when they went back to kind of what was comfortable for them, Valpo dominated, and the Jinx at least going back to being a comfort pick for Dreadful. Comfort pick on your ADC is always a good idea. We are going to see that the Paws saw the Varus from last game and is just deciding to make it their own.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Volibear again in the jungle, but would like to see some of these picks switched up a little bit for Valpo Esports. Man, they're making me look good right now, so appreciate that. But this Volibear, super, super strong jungler in the meta right now. And Chance, Super Bear starting to run out of some picks with that Maokai being banned, Zach being banned, Viego taken away. So, I mean, this is probably next in line for him. And then you see Jakimbo on this Ari, very solid pick champion, have a pretty solid pick comp right now if they can set up vision around these objectives. But something that Jakimbo is very comfortable on, plays very well on. So far, these first three picks, I really like Valpo's draft.
I have to agree, and I think as long as we see another, at least something to do some physical damage would make the team rounded out really nice. I think that something that Velvet Esports kind of fell into was a very heavy AP comp, and so you could even just have people. You had Syndra building Banshee's Veil, giving her that AP or giving her the ability power, but also giving the magic resistance, just making all the attacks not do nearly as much. We do see the Victor come out from the DePaul side. Again, Victor, a little bit weaker to start with, but that slow stacking to get his abilities up, very threatening very quickly, especially as we saw just how strong his wave clear or his CS lead was. Very interesting to see. But as for the final bans going around, we see that the Ornn ban from DePaul, and we see that the Renekton ban from Beppo Esports, really just trying to target, I guess, trying to target both sides' top laners, really just making this going to be a war of who's second, third, or even fourth on both of these top laners picks for
Yeah, I
this.
think Ornn would have really rounded out this comp really well. Curious to see what support we will pick up here. Probably could be a Renata again. Wouldn't mind seeing, a Thresh, a Braum even, having a little bit of frontline engage, stuff like that. But the Victor pick for me, it's kind of just another scaling mage mid laner for DePaul, so no surprises there. basically accomplishes the same thing that Syndra does. And do see the Nautilus from the side of Depauw, so gonna have a lot of lockdown, ton of CC, gonna have that point and click ultimate CC too. So a lot of lockdown, adds some frontline engage for Depauw, so solid pick by them. I think Valpo is really excelling in draft here and gonna find that Braum too for the side of Valpo Esports. Once again, frontline engage from both supports here. So
which will again both. I guess you could say that Udyr was more of a front line, but even then, Udyr was kind of building a little bit more tanky. And as I say this, Udyr, we're going to see Udyr top side again. Be interesting to see if Depauw goes for another Aatrox into that. I guess I shouldn't even say that. They still got 10 seconds to lock it.
gonna be on blue side, picking a blue team. Really like that synergy there that they picked up.
At the end of the day, the synergy is worth the most points of all, right?
Yeah, I mean, and Debal kind of going for a red team as well too, with the Varus, Victor is kind of reddish. I don't know. It kind of looks red.
I was gonna say I'll give you all three of those. I was gonna say Viego's
Viego.
all blue.
Yeah, but anyways, this Valpo Esports draft I like way better. If they lose this game, it's not really going to be from their draft. It would be execution. And a very interesting pick in the top lane, DePaul picking up that Urgot. Do have that master top laner. We saw him on the Aatrox in game one. Got really shut down early game, but was able to pick up a couple kills, scrap together some gold, and really like became effective in those mid to late game team fights. But Urgot a very scary person to lane against. So post like level 4, 5, 6, I mean Udyr is going to be in a scary situation. And if you're Super Bear, Volibear, jungler in this game, I think you switch up what lane you're playing around. Was the Udyr really like something that's going to like pull away with this game, or do you want to look for those dive spot lane with your ultimate? Try to get Jakimbo ahead, someone who can really take away with this game. So I would like to see Super Bear kind of maybe change up his pathing, maybe look for some dives, because I don't think really playing around this top lane is going to win you this game. Um, so we'll see what they kind of decide to change up in their jungle pathing strategy. As far as DePaul, I mean, this Viego is really just looking for that gold income again. If you're able to get ahead on Viego, I mean, he's, another master player, very high level skilled player. If you're ahead on Viego, like, you can really pull away with a game. But anyways, Valpo looking to take a deep breath here. Got a lot of comfort picks, stuff that, you know, is pretty straightforward. Like, you know, you have an idea with this comp, like what you want to do with objectives, what you want to do with team fights, kind of what the goal is in this game. So I think if they're able to follow through on that strategy and execute, like they're in a pretty solid spot for this game too.
I was gonna say I have to completely agree. Spectator delay. It's gonna be really. I agree 100% that bot centric fight. Vepo Esports really did struggle. And if so, that again, if the paw with the stronger top side goes towards grubs, that does mean that Vepo Esports does need to roam. Not able to capitalize on that, but this team comp especially does.
So I think final thoughts for Valpo Esports before we get into this spectator delay. I think Volibear trying to get some early impact on the game. Once you get ultimate, look bot lane, look mid lane for those dives. And I think success for DePaul here is going to be that Viego getting ahead, as well as just having those high CS numbers, being able to scale on this victor is going to be huge for them. But anyways, we'll head to a short spectator delay, and we will be back in just a few minutes with game two. And welcome back to game two of Valpo Esports versus Depauw University. But yeah, really excited to get into this one. I think the draft went really well, but what do you think the lanes are to watch for this one?
Well, if anything tells me, it's that I should just tell you the exact opposite of what I think is going to happen because I said to look out bot lane and top lane was the lane with all the action. So, you know what? I'm going to reverse psychology League of Legends and I'm going to say to look for top lane, but I actually do mean bot lane. We do see the 5-man stack from Vepo Esports. Again, probably in response to that Nautilus. Nautilus very scary at level 1 just with that hook. Um, Jinx with the cleanse. But we go into summoners in just a second. We do see that Red also decided to kind of do a 5-man towards the bottom, but ultimately decided to back against that and the paw kind of going for a weird like 3.5 point.
Yeah, did have a little bit of stack for themselves as well. Really like Valpo kind of anticipating this Nautilus invade, trying to look for an early kill, having that Braum passive early game is really strong. But nothing ends up happening here. We'll take a quick peek as summoner spells. Do have Udyr with Ghost once again. Cleanse from both bot laners again. So I mean, same we saw in game one. We'll have that blue jungle item for Volibear, kind of sticking with that blue vibe. Gives him that extra speed coming out of bushes, really helps that Volibear a lot, and then the damage from Viego as well. But other than that, pretty standard. Don't see any minion dematerializers. Um, but yeah,
I was gonna say just again another quick little. We're gonna see again the Udyr kind of just take
I feel like
early
Udyr
damage.
wins this fight.
He's going to
Would
just
have would have liked to see a pop ghost to maybe go for the all in there. Udyr super strong level one. So is Urgot with that PTA as well. But I mean, Udyr kind of has his ultimate upgrade at level one. So really
it's a
scary
little
to
bit.
fight. We'll see that
But
ghost
looks like
pop.
you're getting exactly what you want with that ghost. But we are just gonna see that Udyr does back out, which again makes it a little bit weaker for Udyr to start with.
So Udyr does get that little dash and flip leveled up second, so he can just kind of avoid that altogether. So top laner with a summoner down for Valpo. Not ideal, but we'll have this first push and we'll have a little bit of a health advantage. And Viego walking up there, do see the pings coming out, do have a trade coming out from mid lane, not too much. But Udyr, very scary here.
Yeah, Udyr I think is just gonna have to full send, but it's not. Is it gonna be enough? It is gonna be enough just for
Oh!
the first blood to go to Valpo Esports, but again an immediate trade down to or no, wait, sorry, the Viego appeared on my screen for half a second in place where Udyr should have been. Udyr does get the first blood kill, albeit just barely. Quite honestly, probably that ghost just to assist before really made it so that Udyr takes the first kill, gives that 400 gold, no assist gold, but we are going to see that that probably does get about even to the revenge kill by Viego, but also that assist gold to Urgot.
Yeah, but also Volibear able to get 3 more camps on the Viego with that time spent. Do have mid lane prio for Depauw. Depauw also having this first rotate from bot lane. Looks like Volibear is able to get out of there safe and sound. But yeah, Valpo gonna kind of have a lead in the jungle here. Volley probably gonna have to waste some time now. We'll look through a transition gank mid lane up to this top scuttle, see if he's able to get anything done.
I was just,
Should likely be spotted out by Depauw, even not by a ward, but just they should probably know.
I was to say at this point in both of these players' experiences,
Do you see a flash mid lane with the Q? Does get stunned up by the Victor W, and a lot of good damage, but not able to find the kill.
not enough. Again, though, the Victor flash for the Ari without the Ari flash does make it slightly positive in terms of Valpo Esports. Once again, just slight yins to the yangs. We do see that the Volibear is coming up at this time. Udyr does not, in fact, have vision. Does get spotted out just a tiny bit. And is communicating where they should go. Ari does have the slight level lead, which should hopefully translate into this being a level 6 advantage, which would be really strong against Victor, just because of that essence. The essence dash is just being able to do a little bit of extra damage, and also just giving Ari that movement speed that is much appreciated. Again, Udyr going for some light hits. We are going to see that Urgot did miss an ability. We're going to see that stun again, not too much, but again, poke Poke goes a long way, especially early game. Not a lot of healing, not too much damage.
You see Volibear with some odd pathing here, opts to go for that top scuttle into Gromp, pops the reset. His Krugs aren't up yet here, maybe looking to prio that dragon here, look for a bot lane gank maybe, but does have that odd pathing, so I was going to say, might surprise Depauw with where he's going to be, but does get spotted on vision there. Don't really have Prow for this dragon, but do have Victor back in there, so maybe able to sneak in here and find something. But I think Valpo's got to really try and pick and prioritize one of these objectives here. You do see Volley playing around this bot lane, but Depauw knows exactly where he is, unfortunately. So.
And it looks like Volley putting down a control ward right in front of Brush. Again, roaming up to probably just clear the top side vision. It does look like that because Udyr is backing. It looks like that we are going to have a trade on objectives. Depauw Esports taking Dragon, while Depauw does take Grubs. Not the, I would say, a pretty okay trade. It does just mean that Depauw Esports does have to really play for Grubs towards the end. But that Infernal Drake is going to be helpful just with that extra damage output. We are going to see a Hex Tech Dragon show up in 5 minutes to the Grubs 4. So again, it is in fact possible for Depauw Esports to get both. We are going to see the flip from Udyr, the knockoff stun.
Don't want to chase too far here. Viego is in the area, but Steamroller does not know that.
Just again, like Poke, we're going to see if, curious to see if we're going to see an ultimate come out from, we do see.
That might do it.
That's enough. And with that, Urgot takes another kill, bringing the gold gold lead back to about even. Urgot will get probably about an extra 150 to 300 with that cannon wave. If they take a plating or not.
They do spot Volley in this bot lane, allowing Viego to come in, take this blue buff, take a couple topside camps from Valpo. So pretty big there, had that kill, has this top row, so able to come in there and take some. Volibear looking for a gank though, does have that flash still down, does not have ultimate yet. Does get stunned up, a lot of damage from the turret, but able to find the kill
and just barely escape.
Viego tempted himself with the dive here. Looks like he will just end up recalling. Kind of hoping Volibear would walk in there, but smartly opting to back there. And Valpo will be all evened up in gold after that. That was really well played by Jakimbo. Super Bear didn't really have a lot to work with, like with when he was coming in that lane, didn't have ultimate, didn't have flash, but Jakimbo making it work, able to find that charm, able to use his ultimate, and able to find the kill.
I was gonna say, even looking back, the final essence dash just to get into a perfect range to be able to use the Ari charm was a brilliant move by Jakimbo. And even again, Victor almost had gotten the kill. Honestly, if they maybe went for more AP instead of those Sorcerer's Shoes, it could have been a little different. But again, Victor's ultimate is down, so is Jakimbo's, but Jakimbo's is technically a slightly faster ultimate. Urgot does have his ultimate back up, so Udyr does have to be careful here, just making sure that they're not playing too aggressive, and Udyr backing off just at the right time.
But anyways, about 9 minutes into this one, gold very slightly favoring Valpo Esports, up about 50, so basically even. Anyways, we'll see this Dragon and next Void Grubs coming out in about 2 minutes, so curious to see how both teams will play around it. If Valpo or Depauw opts to bring up their support, have a 4-man up in the top lane, or if, Valpo decides to just play for this second drag, try and get that drag stack going. As far as CS though, numbers looking a lot better for the side of Valpo, actually up this time in the mid lane, even in the bot lane, so very solid. Do see Udyr able to avoid that gank with his double E, but looking at a dive here for Valpo, really like this, have 4 members down here. This is exactly what we were talking about in the draft, what we needed to see. And they're going to be stuck under this turret. Volibear will have ultimate to turn off the turret here.
And
turret will go off.
That's a very least a Jakimbo kill towards Fountain. Braum taking the tower hits, Dreadful taking an extra one, but we do see a very successful dive from Valpo.
Yeah, well executed.
2-0, and if I can count correctly, it was 2 ultimates, and even Depauw also using 2 ultimates along with 2 summoners, so not only getting a benefit there, but also getting a benefit from ultimates and sums. We are going to see that Viego ults. Volibear just able to escape.
I'm
Um,
just able to walk away.
and just, yeah, it seems like the play of the game for Valpo is just do damage and walk away. Maybe, you know what, maybe that could be the name of a new band cover, take damage and walk away, but I'll leave that for our
Oh, big
music
flash
friends.
here. We'll find the ultimate.
But that stun.
Oh, and not able to find the execute. Udyr does find the kill first before that ult finishes through. So huge kill by the Udyr. Urgot getting a little over aggressive, uses flash and ultimate under turret, and Udyr was able to stun him and find that kill first.
I was
So
going to say Udyr with an
huge.
absolutely perfect stun. And because of this, Valpo Esports is going to be able to get all 3 Void Grubs. And even though Dragon is up in 20 seconds, we are going to see the Victor TP towards mid lane. Looks like Jakimbo might be getting have a little bit of action. But at the very least, this trade negates all worries that any doubts about
Yep.
there being a about being a 6 Void Grubs for
Yep.
Depauw. Valpo Esports really playing a lot better towards these objectives, and because of how healthy they are, Valpo Esports even just feeling willing to just play a little bit. We do see the Victor flash, but because of Valpo Esports' presence, they are going to force Depauw off of Dragon, which is absolutely huge for Valpo
Yep.
Esports.
Did have this Udyr rotate up here after that kill as well. Does have TP up and will actually respawn top here. So we'll save that wave, but you know, with using that TP, Urgot still has his TP up, so will be a 5v4. That was a very badly timed TP from Valpo Esports and could turn ugly, but Jinx finding the reset.
We see Dreadful being able to masterfully kite all of these blue. Blue team does take, or Valpo Esports does take Valpo Esports does take the dragon, but it was at a cost of 3-0.
Yeah, that was not a great TP, and let me tell you why. So he gets the reset in, walks the dragon, perfect, fine. Valpo, you know, takes space. Depauw gladly gives it up. Valpo has the 5v4 advantage. Urgot still has TP up. The Udyr responds top lane to that big wave. TP's top. But then, you know, you just give yourself a 4v5 disadvantage because the Urgot can just TP down. And they were able to collapse there. Even after finding the first kill, Jinx getting excited, we're not able to overcome that numbers disadvantage. So will kind of be a win for Depauw. But, you know, Valpo is able to pick up the Void Grubs and the Dragon. So not the worst thing in the world, but, you know, got kills going over Viego is not ideal.
I was gonna say the now slight lead in gold going back towards Depauw, but again, while I agree with Henry, it was not the best play. It at the very least still Valpo Esports was still able to make the most out of the bad situation, making it
Yeah.
about even, and even then 2 dragons with a mountain soul. Since it's the 3rd dragon, will be a mountain soul.
It's a lot easier to make these macro decisions when you can look and be like, oh, Urgot still has TP up, and you can look and see where the enemy team is. When you're actually playing in the game, making these like real-time live decisions, quick decisions, processing all this information quickly, way harder to make the correct call. So, you know, don't want to tear him down too much on that play because, you know, I probably would have done the same thing. So
I was gonna say these people. I was gonna say the team always surprises me with the things that it looks amazing to do in the moment, but when looking back, it actually being able to fully see a map, because we have the ability to see even through fog of war. So not knowing where other people are really just can make the difference. And again, just some pokes. We are gonna see Ahri does use the ult to disengage. We are gonna see the Volibear go in. Volibear is gonna shut down the tower. The Volibear does take the kill, and is Ahri going to escape? Ahri just barely escapes once again. Victor ult now twice in a row, so close to executing, but not actually enough to do so.
oh, does find the charm. That's gonna do it.
And the charm into the W and the Q, enough to kill the mid laner. Jakimbo taking the extra gold and really showing that bounty up top. Valpo up 8-5 in terms of kills and 1k gold with bot lane turret destroyed.
Yeah, Victor really wanted that E, tried to find that laser, and just walks up a split hair too far, and Ari able to find that charm, gets the kill. Meanwhile, didn't talk about it, but saw a really well executed dive from Valpo in the bot lane, able to find another kill on this Ferris. And with that Volibear, I mean, it's really not that hard. You just press ultimate, turn off the turret. It's a 3v1. Found the Braum passive stun. You had the Jinx traps. I think they used cleanse at some point, and then Volibear just Qs. So I mean, they're just CC'd all the way through it. Turrets turned off. But I mean, great decision making. Able to play around that bot lane, and Valpo able to have this gold lead up 1K now. And do have this objective advantage too with 2-0 dragons.
I was going to say, we are going to watch as Udyr does what Udyr does best and absolutely destroy towers. Udyr is not going to make it. Going to be a little bit of a cursed scuffle. Unfortunately, Urgot does have ultimate, so I do think that unless we see some really cool outplays from Udyr, we are just going to see an execute taken.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, looks like Volibear's just walking towards drag. Does get the flash. No ultimate for Urgot available. I think he might have used it earlier in that fight, and that shield just kind of helped out Udyr absorb a lot of that damage. Um, so I mean,
Oh,
Udyr
that
just super
shield.
tanky.
I'd say Udyr tanky, unfortunately not tank enough to be able to fully be able to do anything to this Urgot, but again, keeping him busy topside, and that while that flash was good, but we're sorry, we got another team fight going, and we do see that Braum takes a quick kill. Ari poking around the Victor. Again, Valpo Esports just taking a very quick win. Volibear jumping on and getting another kill. 2-0 in terms of Valpo in that little engage. Dragon up in 8 seconds, which while Urgot is pathing towards the dragon, pardon me, excusing Urgot and Udyr, the U's are getting me a little bit confused. We are going to see Valpo Esports take dragon, but we are going to see the ult go in towards mid lane. It did not connect from the Jinx. And because of that, it looks like that Depauw is going to try to collapse around Baron Pit, or around Dragon. Dragon was successfully taken. We see the grab by Volibear. We just see some good disengage. We see the TP come in from Victor, which again, I think the Victor expected a lot more of a hold of Valpo Esports to fight back. But Valpo Esports just taking the dragon and leaving, throwing a few abilities out, but nothing that was too detrimental towards the team.
Yeah, on soul point here, gold lead doesn't look too great for Valpo. Still up about 500 gold, but having that soul point is huge. Their gold lead is coming in these stats from the dragon. Do have mountain soul, which would be huge for them if they're able to capture. But yeah, turrets 2-1 towards Depauw. But Valpo looking really good. Jinx ahead, Ari ahead. This Udyr and Volley in a good spot here. And then Dikembe just kind of holding down the fort with Braum in the sport. So
I was gonna say, Dikembe does best supporting the team, both in terms of being probably somewhat of the team's one of the team's main strategists, just determining fights, but also just being there and being willing to not take the most glamorous role. We are gonna see that we are gonna see a little scuffle pop in. Again, nothing too major, just a little damage, a little say hi, hello, and say goodbye. Again, as Henry was saying earlier, even though Valpo Esports is only up about 600 gold, it cannot be understated just the actual impact of how, even though it doesn't look like it's a lot, you have three dragons worth of abilities, both ability power and damage, attack speed and ability haste, along with some defense, a little bit of everything. And for it to affect all 5 people, it makes it a lot more look than that just 200 gold that Valpo Esports is showing. Even with Depauw Esports being a little bit short on CS, both Depauw also has a slight CS advantage, but nothing as major as we were seeing last game. Depauw Esports really deciding to kind of close in on that CS. Hopefully Depauw being careful from that Victor kind of trying to proc his way in. We are going to see the Volibear go in. That's a little
here.
much. We are going to see the ult to disengage, but we did see that the Urgot did also ultimate, so a little interesting.
Yeah, the ult avoiding the disaster will have it up for the next objective. Don't think we're going to see too much action before this dragon comes up. One purchase I did want to note that I didn't see earlier is the Urgot Obstacle Hullbreaker here. We're looking for that split push, so getting a little idea of the direction Depauw wants to go in this game. But unfortunately I don't think that's too good of a purchase. One, because Hullbreaker is not super strong right now. But also of note, Udyr, very good match. Already has that Warden's Mail, Sunfire, put his steel caps. Juicy, Urgot picking up a turret there. But when they are behind in these objectives down 3-0, I mean, Urgot's going to have to be in these team fights. So that Hullbreaker, going to be a lot of wasted money. But, going to be playing for the split push. Urgot, not what I think of as really a strong split push champ. But does have TP down and going top for this Dragon in 140. So I mean, definitely going to be pressuring this top turret here for this next objective, which is not ideal when the other team has sole point.
I was gonna say, it looks like even a Vision Round Baron and a reset's gonna set at least Depauw back by around 30 seconds. But even then, Valpo Esports would be smart to allow the Baron to go. But for the soul point, especially Mountain on Udyr, just the pure amount of shields and extra defense that gives, gives even Jinx and Ahri much needed sustain and ability to just kite even a few more hits out. And for as well rounded and strong as both of these teams are, that little bit, I even said that little bit, that a lot of extra shield will go a long way towards even like an early or preemptive death.
Yeah, I mean, you can wait out a Baron. What you can't wait out is a Soul. It lasts the rest of the game. So if they want to go for Baron, I mean, I feel like that's fine with me. And it kind of almost looks like they're positioning for it right now. I highly doubt they're actually going to go for it, but this Ahri got to be careful with that Urgot kind of waiting over the wall. Can hop over that wall and deal a lot of damage to Ahri very quickly, but do have this Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. We'll have Ahri rotating down. Do already have Udyr in the spot side. Um, yeah, both TPs up from Valpo, so could see some swaps. Do stop this back, which is pretty huge because Urgot does not have teleport up.
As I say, keeping Urgot in place is just gonna make things a little bit more aggravating for Urgot. Obviously wanted to get that back and is now stuck for probably at least been now the past 20,
Just gonna
25
kind of
seconds.
have to be forced to try and push in this top wave.
And we are going to see the teleport from Ahri come in, probably looking to see for a good engage. Does miss the charm. I thought I saw that the Nautilus had used R, but I was wrong.
Urgot is rotating down. Valpo in position right now to start this Dragon, but Depauw gonna have to contest here. Will be forced to contest here. Valpo does get the start, but gonna be 5v5 now. A couple members chunked out from Valpo, so gotta be careful. A lot of major sums still up from Valpo, but that Ahri ultimate down, so won't quite be as slippery with all that Nautilus CC, so got to be careful for that. We'll see Victor coming in on a flank, could do a lot of damage with the ultimate ability. Have Udyr frontline in here. There goes the Nautilus out onto Jinx. There goes a huge Braum ult, but a lot of members dropping low. Dreadful able to find the early kill on Nautilus. Viego getting a reset on Udyr. Jinx getting another reset, finding 3. That's a triple kill for Dreadful, but this Viego gonna find some resets. Owen able to find the zap onto Braum. Will ult on top of him and able to clean up this Braum as well. Do have Varus on this Dragon. Ahri is resetting, does not have TP, so it will be a 4 for 3 for Depauw here if he's able to find this stun. And Dragon goes over to Depauw. So really good start to that team fight for Valpo, but Viego, having this lead is able to just kind of run over this team fight. And, that swings the gold lead to the side of Depauw with a 1k gold lead and also able to find that vital Dragon that they needed.
I was gonna say again, really, really good intentions by Valpo Esports. I don't think even looking back at this, I would have recommended anything different. Just realizing that while Dreadful was able to get that triple kill, which absolutely shut it down. The problem was I think they just let the Viego get a little too long online and didn't really focus them first, which again, as Viego is one of their hyper carries, just allowing him to start catching away really makes him super strong. We did see that it was a long chase against Dikembe, the support for Valpo Esports. But again, just Valpo Esports played that relatively well, but really just focus on target prioritization during the next team fight. I think was really what threw them that from what was an okay start to what would have been a good finish.
Yeah, and Victor not doing much damage now, but once he hits that 3 items, will be kind of no matter what his KDA is. But I think if they're able to find that charm onto Viego, able to get that hard CC, I mean, that's really what they need because the Viego is pretty much the only one who is able to accomplish much in that team fight. And Viego, if he's able to find that first kill, get those resets, all those abilities he's able to use in one team fight is just crazy. But entering into 25 minutes here into the late game, Valpo, honestly, in a spot that is not too bad. Just looking at objectives here, but do feel like they're a little bit on the back foot after that last team fight. So we'll see what happens. Urgot still in this kind of split pushing role, still has that hull breaker. Udyr does have a lot of items to match this Urgot if necessary, but a lot of pings, a lot of vision going out around this Baron about 25 minutes. So I mean, this is kind of the time when you see teams looking to prioritize this Baron.
As I say, it's 4v4 with both top laners still there. Both top laners do still have teleport up. Again, really hoping that we're going to watch as we have Udyr do us. Hopefully not any teleport will be a strong one. We do see that the Jinx rocket, probably just to confirm if on Baron, just hits the Nautilus. Not doing a lot of damage, but honestly, I don't think Dreadful was hoping for it to do damage just to give more of information rather than anything.
Yep, just checking to make sure they're not on Baron there. Jinx ultimate, to be honest, isn't that good of an ultimate, so just using it for intel is not bad.
Actually, yeah, it's not that good in the level of play that we're seeing. If you're just playing for fun, Jinx Rocket can be sometimes very annoying,
Yeah,
especially someone who doesn't.
definitely sometimes work and sometimes it's helpful, but like not nearly as much as like some of the other ultimates we see in this game.
I was gonna say we have Oliver that can shut down a tower. We have Ari that can maneuver around the whole map, and
to
we
have
even
like 3
Urgot
flashes with damage, and a lot of huge ultimates from the side of Depauw too. But anyways, pretty tame game. Probably not going to see much action till this dragon spawns again. I doubt we'll see any crazy Baron plays before this dragon spawns because now we're at this like 1:30 till it spawns. So I mean, you see both teams kind of pinging out this dragon, starting to want to rotate down there, but have a lot of people still up on this top side. But I bet eventually in the next 30 seconds to a minute, they're going to be looking for picks, looking to set up vision in this bot side.
As I say, as you say, we're setting up picks. If there wasn't that vision there, it is 3v2. It is 3v2 mid lane. Viego is on their way probably to go make it even. Ari is just dancing kind of a little bit around the Urgot. Seen some light curse scuffles, especially while we see that the stun comes out. We see the ult come out from Victor, which is going to do a lot of chunking damage. But
Udyr does not have any magic resist. That is all armor. So honestly, would probably like to see the Udyr in the top mod matching that Urgot instead of the Ahri. Do have Urgot in the mid lane right now. Viego behind actually looking for a pick here. 4v3. We'll have the TP come in. And Jinx able to find the shutdown on Viego. Urgot trading back with the ultimate. But that is a huge win for Valpo Esports. Jungler down with 35 till drag. Do have Victor behind looking for some damage. But able to find this kill on the Varus. And Nautilus may be going a little too far here.
I think Nautilus just had to go a little bit too far with that hook. I think Nautilus was really just trying to protect, but was just a second off.
Depauw forcing a fight they really didn't need to. I mean, Viego going in on the back line was very risky because all Valpo was able to rotate on him, and they will get this mid turret and likely will turn into a dragon. So Depauw with a little throw there, and just opening the door for Valpo Esports to take back this lead and find this Mountain Soul. So, I mean, that is massive for Valpo Esports. But they will want to finish off this dragon as soon as possible. Have Urgot heading in quick. Do have the Victor TP. Depauw is going to want to contest here. Viego will be late for the smite, so not going to find it in time.
You do need to finish the dragon, though.
Got to finish it as soon as possible. No smite, able to find it out.
Oh, the Jinx. Oh. Jinx with the slight. Jinx with the kiting. We're going to see, again, Ari almost...
Oh, huge! Able to find two!
The flash from Dreadful, securing that double kill, and also just checking that bush. Just making sure that there's no one there ready to ambush them. Absolutely huge play by Dreadful the Jinx.
They're heading to Baron now.
That. I was going to say, you have a 5v3 Baron, and while you have your ADC that has the highest damage, and while Udyr is low, Udyr is always known to take plenty of health back very quickly. So Valpo Esports really just taking an absolutely enormous win from that last dragon. We are going to see that the Viego is nearby. Viego pops the ward, giving Valpo Esports knowledge that Viego is nearby. It's going to probably come down to somewhat of a smite battle. We are going to watch as people do play it safe. 2100, the knock up,
Great Braum ult there.
which was absolutely enough to prevent the Viego from flashing in because his altar was down. Depauw Esports now with Soul and Baron should be able to very quickly close out the rest of this game.
Yeah, Dikembe with a huge Braum ultimate there. But you see Valpo kind of waiting for that mistake, and Depauw makes it, and they're able to completely capitalize on it and take this lead and kind of bust it right open. Doors wide open at this point. Up 8 kills, up 3k gold. Do have the Mountain Soul, which is a ton of gold value there in the stats that they have. And then have the Baron too. So, I mean, we're going to see a 1-3-1 come out here initially. Do have Udyr bot, Ahri top, rest 3 mid. Does look like Udyr is maybe rotating up to the mid lane here. So we'll have a 4-for-1. Do have Victor matching that bot wave. But yeah, Valpo Esports in a really good spot. Ahri's got to be careful matching this Urgot. Not a great matchup just with that Allbreaker. But Ahri with ultimate up does have a lot of mobility if needed. But yeah, I mean, Victor in this bot lane not in a good spot, especially with TP down. Gonna have to back eventually here because that is not really worth for him to be down there. Because Valpo in this mid lane just able to keep doing damage on the turrets. Back finally comes through, but it's gonna be too late.
It's gonna be late as they take inhibitor turret, and if I'm Depauw Esports, I'm either gonna roam up top towards to help Ahri. I know that we were saying that historically Ahri into Urgot is not the strongest, but this team just doesn't know Dikembe's Ahri, and we're gonna see that it's still gonna be a 5v5. We do see that the Volibear does have ultimate up. So if Depauw Esports in any way, shape, or form does not play this smart, that will be probably the end of this game. We are even seeing, just because of the enhanced cannon minions, just doing tiny chunks of damage over time towards that tower. We're seeing Udyr kind of go in. I think Udyr trying to bait. We see that the Ahri does go in and does a significant chunk of damage towards the Varus. Hopefully enough even to take the rest of that tower. Again, we see the hook come in from Nautilus. Nautilus going to die because of the dreadful ult and the slight heal from Crypt Bloom. And I think that Nautilus might have actually just spelt the 1-1 to Depauw.
Yeah, and this Mountain Soul making them so tanky here. This Victor still not really online yet, not doing a lot of damage with the wave clear poking. Valpo finding their second inhibitor here, still in a 5v4 push, letting the minions do a lot of the work here. Looks like they will start to back out here. Don't really want to overextend. They have complete grip on this game. Don't want to make any slip-ups, make many mistakes, but I mean, that's a very successful Baron. Going from about a 3k gold lead to a 6k gold lead. So I mean, they're definitely in the driver's seat now. Ahri 5-0-9 on this Ahri, and then also you see Dreadful 9-2-6. This B1 Jinx, I mean, definitely working out. If they get blue side, I mean, it's gotta get banned out because it just goes so well for Dreadful every time. The way he's able to position and fights and whatnot is just crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Pardon the bug for
sorry about that. Spectator didn't actually break that time. It's just the game is being done. But anyways, Valpo in a really good spot here with 33 minutes into this one. Definitely in the driver's seat, definitely in control. Just got to execute at the end here and just close it out.
Valpo Esports has to just, they're in the lead, but it can happen at all levels of play where one bad move by either team is really just a cause of the rest of the team downfall. We do see the volley, we see them collapsing on the Victor. Again, Volibear just trying to do some, just trying to poke out, the Victor, getting some slight damage. Again, Valpo Esports does realize that the Baron buff is now gone, significantly losing their minion wave, but it is a 5v4 with Urgot at the top lane, which, while somewhat smart, especially when they're this pushed into your wave, is just very, very dangerous for Depauw. We are going to see that the I was not the Nautilus. Never mind. We're going to see that the Urgot just continues the push. Does be able to defend Valpo Esports. The pings are going out towards the team, but we are going to see the Charm and just absolutely chunking out the Nautilus' help, which might have actually been exactly what Valpo Esports was looking for. Just trying to drag them out a little bit.
Looks like they're going to be playing for this Elder, letting the minions do a lot of work in that mid lane. But Elder up in 10 seconds here. See if they decide to respond to the Urgot. I mean,
They're gonna
could
have
be
to
scary
eventually.
eventually. Um, Udyr does have TP here, so we'll just kind of go and clear this wave. Doesn't really need to kill the Urgot here or anything. And has TP for this Elder Dragon that Valpo is in a really good spot for. Do have Urgot TPing into the back here. And then hopefully Udyr will pop his TP there.
And that is a very quick Elder Dragon.
I didn't even see it go down, but
I was gonna say Jinx just popping it off, and if Jinx is gonna alt deck can get a really easy kill on Varus, but we're just gonna run it down mid. Just play it safe. Just play it safe. Valpo Esports realizing that not always playing aggressive doesn't always win. Sometimes just playing it low and slow. And with the TP from Ari, we are going to see the Udyr does take a significant chunk of damage. We are going to see both towers offline by Super Bear taking first Nexus turret, and again just doing chunking damage. Beppo Esports just really needs to be smart here for the final bits of damage. The Nautilus goes down, and then the Crypt Bloom heal, followed by Udyr kill into dreadful double kill, almost dreadful triple kill, but fortunately, Depauw Esports was not enough to take down Beppo Esports, leaving Beppo Esports to make this a very interesting third game, tying it 1-1 with about a 7K gold lead.
yeah, we'll be hopping into game 3 here. Is a best of 3 series, I believe, in the semifinals. We'll double check on that, although I'm not prepared for a best of 5. But it did say best of 3 on the website, so we'll go with that. But Valpo playing a really clean, well executed game 2. I mean, I think their draft went exactly what we wanted to see there, and they were able to get into this game, play around mid, play around bot there, saw a couple bot dives, play around these objectives a lot better. And I think they just went in with a game plan and they followed it, stuck to it, and it worked out and they won.
Uh,
So,
Completely. Valpo Esports, I think, really just decided to actually take a breath and realize where their strengths were. Specifically, looking around that Ari once again, 5-0-14 end off his second game. Just really, Valpo Esports really realizing the fact of how important those objectives were, and just playing around the team and playing it low and slow. That was the name of the game, and they looked for every opportunity that DePaul gave them and maximized it to its fullest extent.
but anyways, we'll take a short break here before we hop into the final game of this series. But really excited here. Valpo able to even it up, and with the opportunity to punch their ticket to the finals here in one final game here. Really excited for them, and we'll take a short break before we hop into draft for game 3. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for Game 3 of Valpo Esports versus Depauw in the NECC semifinals. Win this game and advance to the finals. Already one for one in the semifinals with our Rocket League team advanced to the finals. That match will be played Friday. So hopefully can go 2 for 2 in these semifinals here, and have two teams in the finals. But we'll find out here shortly in the next hour. But Valpo switching to red side here. DePaul opted to go back to blue side. It worked for them in game one. Opted to choose that side for game three. But we'll be getting started just about now with these bands. What bands are you kind of expecting?
Well, I feel like at this point we're either gonna see a Depauw ban jinx or be one blue one
Yep,
jinx.
pick or band. I feel like it's got to be.
So Zach on the lockdown just entirely. Super Bear I think cringing a little bit. Just no Zachy vengeance time for him. Again, we're gonna see the Azir ban. Just Zier's been a pain ever since his most recent buff, where his soldiers are now able to apply on hit effects, so making Dashers 2 just absolutely.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know. I think it may be at like 50% efficacy, but that's still 50% too much damage, especially for Azir. But we are just going to see the Talia. But I really think that they. I mean, you have to keep banning against Jakimbo at this point.
Yep. And from DePaul, probably going to see a B180C pick. Either going to see Jinx or what I've heard murmurs of is an Aphelios B1 as well. Um, so watch out for that as well. If you do see that Aphelios, Valpo can immediately respond with a Jinx Braum, Jinx Thresh, Jinx Renata. I
Lucian
just want to see
Nami.
Jinx. So
I would love to see
I don't
Jinx.
want to see Lucian Nami. I mean, really strong, aggressive lane, but I mean that's not really the way Valpo plays. And Valpo opting to ban the Jinx, so expecting a DePaul be one Jinx. So yeah, pick or ban, and you do see the ban come through from Valpo. Unfortunately, but I mean you kind of have to do it. Jinx so strong in the meta right now. Interesting, we did see no pick or ban in game one. Um, but I mean, seeing 100% presence throughout the rest of the series, I'm expecting an Aphelios here, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I would also be expecting an Aphelios here.
Oh, and there goes the Aphelios.
And I
Dude, I've
think
been like 100% on my draft predictions tonight.
I wish I'm like I think if we look back, I think I'm at like 12% draft predictions.
I'm gonna guess a bot ADC here. We're going to see. That was completely wrong. But do pick up this Viego for Super Bear. This is something that he's, probably wanted this entire series. It's just been picked away from DePaul before he's gotten a chance to pick it up. So we'll have Viego on Super Bear for this game, and do see that Braum. Really like that Braum. Worked really well last game for that frontline engage. Saw a huge Braum ult by that Baron, avoiding the 50-50, letting Super Bear kind of relax there with the smite. But I think this Viego is a huge pick, not only to have on our team, having Super Bear on a comfort pick, on a very strong, aggressive pick for game three, but also just taking away from DePaul. I mean, was very successful for them, and maybe seeing a Lee Sin, that'd be kind of crazy.
That would all
And
be
it
are
gets
gonna
locked
see
in.
Lisa. Lisa, oh, this will be a very interesting game
So
now.
Lee Sin and kind of like bronze all the way to like emerald, low diamond. Not a very good champion, but is always viable in competitive League of Legends. Being piloted by, about halfway masters, almost grandmaster jungler for DePaul. Likely going to be very good with that, have the inset kick, have the flash kick online. Can be very useful, and also can get ahead very early and kind of just run over a game level 3, level 4. So kind of a similar playstyle to Viego, just a lot harder to actually pull it off and execute. And do have this recon pick, solid pick, have a lot of engage, a lot of disengage, and just a solid pick. And Jakimbo able to pick up this Ari again, worked really well for him in game two, and gets through in this draft, able to find it in the first round in game three.
I was gonna say, just looking at the teams, we still again very good comfort picks by Valpo. Again, comfort picks at Valpo Esports, which was quite honestly, I think the little shakeup that they really wanted to be able to be successful. Obviously with the paw Valpo Esports has been banning Aphelios both game one and game two, so they were fully expecting. I'm pretty sure Aphelios to go, but we do see the paw banning the Udyr, taking the reign of the reign of Udyr to to I would think an unfortunate end. Just really making sure that he doesn't continue to cause carnage, especially probably against a decently sin. But we are going to see the
Yeah.
Cassiopeia ban from Valno Esports. I think very interesting ban to see. Cassiopeia is an extremely strong champion, as long as you know how to play her and you play her well. And because again of the high level of skill that we're seeing by both teams, Cassiopeia is just a threatening pick all around. But we're going to see very quickly the last ban for Depauw. I expect probably another top lane, maybe an Ornn or even an Olaf.
We are kind of entering into this late night Monday night, kind of starting to get like tired, monotone feel, but like realistically, this is the biggest League of Legends game we've had all semester, if not all year. So I mean, we got to get pumped up for this one.
All
Game
right.
3 of a semifinals match, with the win here, could punch the ticket to the finals. Do see the Xayah taking away that couple being broken up on enemy teams, so we'll be doing it out there. Haven't seen too much Xayah from Dreadful, but I mean, in this situation, makes a lot of sense. Have a little bit of self peel, as well as just having a lot of DPS as well. Get the Aatrox, very good blind pick in the top lane, as you do have counter pick in the top lane for Steamroller. Um, Aatrox is just, a very solid top laner, very good blind pickable top laner. But yeah, I mean, I'm just hyped up for this game. But
And they're going to change it on you just last second,
they're
give you
gonna
an
buy
Orianna
themselves a
there.
little more time to figure out this top pick. I honestly still think it's gonna be Aatrox. Um, I mean, theoretically, I guess they could pick Malphite with the Orianna, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen. That's kind of like a plat emerald team strategy, like, oh, it's wombo combo. But I mean, I think we're going to see the Aatrox still, but does buy themselves a little more time to kind of think on this top lane, because it's a crucial pick for them. They got to think what Steamroller can play, do have that Udyr, do have that Ornn band out. And we saw the Hullbreaker in game 2 on Urgot, going to go with another split pusher again, have that Gwen. So I mean, it's going to be tough to pick a champion that can match a Gwen here.
I was gonna say it would have been all the more deadlier if Episports had already chosen Gwen's still a relatively safe blind pick. At least not fully knowing what they wanted to choose. I do want to very quickly point out that I think I've gotten like my first or second ban actually correct in terms of it being the actual
Ooh,
or we are
Jax.
seeing the Jax into
Steamroller
the
matching
Gwen.
that split push energy with the Jax. Like this pick. I think the Gwen makes a lot of sense though, looking back on it, just because, if they pick up that Aatrox, they have a lot of AD damage with Lee Sin, with Aphelios. Orianna being full AP, but doesn't really provide a lot of DPS, a lot of like crazy damage, just like more like one shot ultimate damage, but kind of evening out their damage a little bit. But this Valpo response with the Jax is bold. I mean, I like it, but it's bold.
I have to agree, it is very bold, but we are going to see that again, Gwen just goes so much AP that she's not going to go too much tank. So Rakan will really only be kind of the main frontliner. Lee Sin also kind of just looking for quick in, quick out. So again, I really think that if Apple Esports can hope to get regular full on engages and not as long as they watch their sides correctly, I think we can see a really good success from both the Jax and the Braum, kind of being a little bit more tanky. And if Viego's able to get an early kill on Rakan and be able to be a tank for even a few seconds, that I think could be a huge way to swing a battle really quickly.
And I don't really think we're going to see much of this Gwen until 3 items, until 25 minutes, probably that third, fourth drag, when you get a TP Ghost behind your team and kind of looks for that crazy pop off in a team fight. But I mean, until 3 items, pretty much just going to be in the side lane, going to be in the side lane for all these objectives until they use their TP. Don't necessarily need to build Hullbreaker whatsoever because Gwen does plenty fine without it. Um, but yeah, gonna be really interesting to see how this top lane goes. I think it's really important who's able to come out of the lane with an advantage with the lead, because you know, I mean, it's just gonna be a big part of the game for sure.
It absolutely is going to be really interested to see. I say Jax is the only one I'm not too certain about on Steamroller, but I know that Dreadful has been playing Zion. I think is a backline. Maybe could be his first ADC that he really truly felt comfortable with. I could be wrong about that, but Zaya all around is just pretty safe, pretty solid. Also, just giving himself a good little disengage with the Zaya ultimate, which would be it's going to be huge in case of a bad Oriana ball just to be able to counter ult to get himself out.
I
But
think this Valpo team really excels in the mid game, where Depauw is going to be really scary in the late game. So if you're Valpo, I mean, kind of securing or locking down a lead in the mid game and finding their success there is going to be key because if they keep it even to like 30, 35 plus minutes, I mean, I feel like it swings the way of Depauw. But also these first like 5, 6 minutes are going to be crucial because Lee Sin and Viego really thrive off those level 3, level 4 ganks. If Lee Sin can find a lead in one of these lanes, could be huge for him, as well as Viego. I mean, both of these are snowballing junglers. Can put out a lot of damage, going to be really crucial in team fights. And if Aphelios or Gwen or Jax are able to find any sort of lead, they can really pull away with that.
I was gonna say they're keeping this final game on both of our toes, both in terms of CS and in terms of kills. I'm really excited to see where this third game of NECC semifinals brings us. Both games so far have gone into their third game, making sure that both Henry and myself have had a very interesting night of casting these wonderful games. So I think with our just kind of final thoughts, we're probably going to get into waiting for that spectator lane and a quick break on our end.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped up for this one. We'll take a short break for spectator delay, and we will be right back with game 3. And we are back for game 3 of Valpo versus DePaul League of Legends NECC semifinals. Game 3, baby, let's go.
I was gonna say, we got to keep up this positive. We got to keep up this energy. Third game from Valpo Esports. This is going to determine if Valpo Esports makes it to the NECC finals. Um, we see a five-man by Valpo Esports roaming bot side.
Oh, I love this. I want to see some action here early game. This Braum passive could be huge. And gonna get into this tri-bush undetected.
I was gonna say, I
Gotta
think,
walk around. Oh
yep,
yeah, they're doing it.
and they only will have two people able to respond to this.
Yeah, we'll see
So
if Rakan leveled up his dash or has saved anything. Uh, Anyways, we'll probably have to force out a flash here. Maybe. Does find the Q. And don't follow it. Okay, little anticlimactic there. Looks like DePaul will get a deep ward in response in Valpo's red area here. So do bring in 3 members here. Watch this Lee Sin drop the ward. Honestly, probably don't want Lee Sin to drop this ward just so he has ward jump for these early ganks. And it looks like they're actually going to invade and take it. So I think Depauw maybe expecting Valpo to take their red buff. But yeah, this is interesting start here for both junglers. So eventually I think they will find out that Lee Sin was on this. So Super Bear gonna be in a tough decision. Do you want to try and vertical this jungle and kind of risk being taken? It looks like Lee Sin might just take the red buff, head out, and try and get a 3 buff clear on his first clear.
I was gonna say, and just gonna take the grubs again. We are seeing some slight skirmishing, at least what it looks like, some light dancing between Gwen and Jax. But yeah, Lee Sin just taking the grubs, but again, we see the early lead by Jax, but also just doing a little bit of damage. I'm pretty sure Jax just needs to make sure that they're staying safe.
Oh, gonna look for an early gank top. Nope, never mind. But this is not gonna be good. I think Super Bear hopefully won't be too surprised when he goes to his red buff and it's not there. But the way he's pathing, it almost seems that they don't know that this happened.
I was to say I think we both might be thinking the same thing. I don't think Super Bear fully knows that 2 of his camps are gone, and this is now going to put Super Bear in a really interesting position. Four cancel have been taken, but he sees that red is gone. Is also going to go check grubs. Grubs are going to be gone, and so Jax on the Gwen, just doing a little bit of poke damage here and there, and Jax missing the. Jax missing the cannon, but we are going to see that the Viego is there. Don't know if he's been spotted. Looks like he's just staying in ward, but this does mean that
Viego and Lee Sin do see each other here.
Responding to pings for each other. Ari again a little bit lower on health than Orianna. We do see the charm come out, and again nothing too major happening except for a level 3 lead now by not by Valpo Esports, by Depauw. Yeah, just doing some light damage. Take some, give some.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see where Super Bear goes after the Scuttle Crab. Whether he's going to gank bot, whether he's going to decide to go into their red buff and take that camp there. Looks like he is looking for a gank here. Don't think he's been spotted out. Does find the W onto the Rakan. Not able to find the Braum stun and just going to have to back off. And Aphelios with some good chip damage there.
Keeping this game interesting, which is what we want. I don't think they're expecting him to be back in that bush though. Jax again slightly down. Oh, the Gwen chunking him out just a little bit.
Diego heading in again.
Very interesting dive.
Ooh. The flash W onto the Aphelios forces out the cleanse and flash on Aphelios, but Gwen does find the first blood solo bolo in the top lane for Depauw. Do have a counter gank coming in this bot lane for Lee Sin. Opts not to go in. A lot of action here. The camera's moving around a lot. But Depauw will find that first blood up 1,000 gold in the top lane. But do find a couple huge summoners. Do have that ignite from Rakan down, cleanse, flash down on the Aphelios. So hopefully going to see a repeat gank in the next 5 minutes while these sums are still down. But Lee Sin ahead a little bit in gold just from that first clear. Was able to get almost 3 full quadrants. Just missed out on Valpo's Raptors there. But doing a good job so far. Not able to find a gank yet, but I mean his lanes are doing well right now without him.
I was gonna say we see the Braum coming in from the back. We see the knockup, but we also see the Braum coming back for a defense. Aphelios is pretty low on mana, so just any opportunity is an opportunity for for Xayah and Braum to just take rest of this game. Mid lane once again just kind of being played a little bit passive. No problem. It is going to look like we are going to get a vision clear, and Valpo Esports might be starting this Hextech Dragon.
Yep, we'll have Lee Sin heading up to these Void Grubs. Will look like we're going to start out with another early trade similar to what we saw game 2, trading this Dragon for the Void Grubs. And we'll see where Super Bear decides to go after this one. Maybe looking for a gank mid lane, maybe heading up to those Void Grubs. I think it's safe to assume for Valpo that this Lee Sin is on the Void Grubs at this point. Do get some resets out for Valpo. Braum looks like he's rotating up there, maybe looking for some vision, ops to recall. So it will be a pretty even trading objectives here, and Depauw holding on to this 1k gold lead.
I was going to say, even from the Gwen, just seeing her little snip.
That'll do it.
It's enough.
And that is another kill for Gwen in this top lane. That is not good. Not good at all, because now this Jax is going to be stuck in this split push lane, and being behind on a Gwen early is very scary. That is really not good to see if you're a Valpo fan.
No, unfortunately not. And Gwen's taking at least one plate, and Jax does have to get back already use their teleport. Gwen still has her TP up, making it very strong. And if Police Sports didn't already know that grubs were taken, they clearly see it now. We do see the Viego going in on the Gwen. Gwen's probably gonna pop her Hollowed Mist. Make sure she gets out. She pops it, but just a tiny bit too soon. Is Valpo Esports going to try to use this opportunity to kill the Gwen? They are, but it's not going to be enough, as Jax's ult will now be down for the.
Yeah, I mean, Depauw's in the spot they want to be in right now. I don't know. You know, we said that Jax R5 was a bold pick, and so far not working out. Because, you know, Jax's E is like a huge part of his kit, and it doesn't really dodge a lot of huge things from Gwen. Like the Q does a ton of damage, the ult does a ton of damage, and doesn't really negate that. So maybe not the best counter pick. But, you know, hindsight is 2020. But you do see Super Bear trying to even out that lane, get that gold shutdown, but not working out. I think at this point, Jax has just got to scale up. I mean, does scale very well. So, you know, once they get to that 2-3 items, get a little bit of MR in their kit as well. Hopefully we'll be okay, but do see Gwen kind of pressuring Viego on her Krugs here. Could be in a 2v1 situation. Ahri rotating down for that one, but Gwen will just E her way out of the jungle.
Again, that deep vision by Gwen really just making sure that they're gonna keep tabs on where Viego's for a little bit. Gonna see some light skirmishing coming up. We're gonna see the throw out, and again, Depauw does have 3 people bot side, so Valpo Esports is playing under their tower. Unlike last time, though, we're not as worried about some sort of dive, just because there is no way to shut down towers. The towers do way too much damage early game to be able to do anything unless you have a really,
you see
really good
great vision, great jungle control by Depauw here. Have wards all over both sides of Valpo's jungle, and they are set up very well for these next Void Grubs, for this next dragon, and trying to find a pick on this Viego, but just able to take this blue buff here away from Super Bear. So Valpo not looking in a great spot in the top side, in the jungle top, down 10 CS mid, down 10 CS bot. So I mean, they gotta take a deep breath and come back, because this game is, you know, they're down 1.5k. They do have that first drag. They're not in a bad spot. Like, this is still completely winnable. It's just, this is not a great start.
No, but Valpo Esports has come back from a little bit more interesting games. Again, looking at the bot lane, both the ADCs have ultimate up. Rakan does. So this is going to be a very interesting time for Dikembe and Dreadful, just really making sure that they're playing safe, because at any point in time, Rakan can grant entrance, and a good Aphelios ult could spell disaster for bot lane. But we see the Braum with a level 6 ult making things a little bit more even.
Yeah, do see Lee Sin picking out those Void Grubs. Looks like they really want to play for those 6 Void Grubs. And that would be very scary on this Gwen. You know, already wanting to play this split push, but having those 6 Void Grubs on top of it could be very scary. Valpo kind of has the option. Do they want to contest that, or do they want to take the free dragon? I think taking the free dragon is best option for them right now, just because I feel like in the current state of this game, they're not really looking for an even fair, like even numbered fight. Like, I feel like it wouldn't go too well for them unless if, you know, they're in a perfect situation. But Depauw kind of has this vision set up, knows where Valpo is. I mean, I feel like you kind of are just forced to go for the dragon, even though it's not exactly what you want in this trade.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, not. You're gonna notice that Gwen's roaming down. This is just solidifying, telling you that they're gonna go for those Void Grubs, and unfortunately, Valpo will take a loss with having all 6 Void Grubs going towards the paw, which just is going to do absolute numbers on towers, both early game and late game. That extra damage over time.
I was scared a little bit with the delayed spawn to drag that Depauw would try and kind of go for both here, but do see the back from Gwen and Lee Sin. So not going to see a contest here for the dragon. We'll kind of give it up for free. Do get the ward to kind of confirm what they already thought was happening for Depauw. And there goes the smite. So it will be 2 dragons for Valpo. Will be 2 sets of Void Grubs, 6 Void Grubs total for Depauw. So Depauw will kind of have that split push extra true damage on towers. Those little void grubs spawning for the rest of the game, but Valpo will have these stats from the Hex Tech from the Ocean. And we will see Chemtech Soul for this Game 3.
I was gonna say, which I think, in terms of playing around dragons, especially the Chemtech Soul buff of 11% extra damage when you're under 50% health. While it's nice, I don't think that this team comp lends too well to that idea of low skirmish. And if we had saw a Jinx, I think that we would be seeing a lot. We would see a lot more, probably a lot more happiness at Beppo Esports, realizing that they'd be too away from that. So we're going to see possibly a slight skirmish get out. We are going to see the ultimate come out.
Oh, flash and ult able to get out. Did see the Gwen, no Gwen ultimate, but did see the Lee Sin kick, see the Ori ultimate come out there. So a couple big ultimates from Depauw wasted, but Viego having to use flash and ultimate. And this Depauw team has been all over Super Bear here, having this deep vision, having a lot of dragon pressure. And it's just been really tough for Super Bear to kind of try and get a lead. But see a huge fight breaking out here. Do have Braum with the flash Q, but a huge TP from Gwen coming in. Got to be scared here. Ori finding the first kill. Ori able to trade one back onto Aphelios, but it looks like Depauw's going to be able to clean up here. Rakan not finding the knockup.
But we are going to see the final flash. We are going to see the final flash come in. Rakan to escape, and that was a lot of summoner spells burned on Depauw's side.
Yeah.
5-3 on Valve.
Sorry about that. Was the Ori TP, not the Gwen teleport. So I was very scared. But Ori having teleport as well does use that ultimate. So 2-for-1 trade for the side of Depauw. So extending this gold lead to about 3.5k, having that 4 kills to 1. Turrets so far 0 for either team. Objectives about even. But I mean, this Lee Sin has kind of just been in Super Bear's jungle a majority of the game.
Really keeping them locked offline. Extra turret shot, just doing a little bit of extra damage to Gwen. And we see the Kimbe clearing out any and all vision that was placed.
Super Bear at least, Steamroll at least farming well, having solid XP, so not too far behind. Gwen does have that completed item. Jack's still working on his Triforce. But I think eventually, once he hits level 16, we'll be able to kind of hold his own in this lane. Although Gwen also does get extremely scary around 3 items. But you do see Jax kind of able to match this Gwen at the moment. Does get the flash away. Might have been a little preemptive, but these trades haven't been going too bad for Steamroller since those deaths earlier in the game.
I was gonna say, I think just Jack's playing a lot safer, but the problem is just that little bit of extra. We're gonna see a little action here. Orianna ulting, I guess, to try to get away. Is it gonna be enough to kill the Viego? It is actually going to be enough to kill the Viego, making that really making the play what looked like it was gonna be good very quickly into a less than ideal play for.
Yeah, I think if they layered that Viego W with the Ari charm, might have been able to find the kill, but unfortunately Lee Sin able to flash W, kick in there, able to find the kill on Super Bear. So Depauw able to respond just in time. We'll look for a dive here, 3 versus 2. Braum does have ultimate, no exhaust, but do have the TP to negate the dive. Honestly, don't know if that would have went too well for Depauw, considering, the kick was down. Valpo still having the disengage ultimate from Zaya and the disengage ultimate from Braum. But I guess regardless, TP playing it safe. Did have turret plates down and the turret pretty low, so maybe they were thinking take the turret.
That's probably what I think was going to be the bigger thing. Was just
yeah, I didn't look at the turret health bar until just now.
Well, between the turret health bar and the
potential dive, yeah.
Yeah, turret health bar dive and the 6 grubs just is a lot of damage. We are going to see though Gwen's probably going to take the first top turret, but we are going to see a 2v1 versus the Gwen. Gwen is strong.
Oh no, but able to find the shutdown 1-for-1. Does get the turret as well, but not too bad of a trade. Viego just pretty squishy. Did complete that first item, but unfortunately dying to that third ult charge from the Gwen. So we'll get the 1-for-1. Does get the charm under turret. Going to do a lot of damage. And able to find the shutdown on Orianna. Jakimbo with the outplay. 2-0 on Ari right now.
I was going to say absolutely strong.
Oh, do you see this Lee Sin coming in? Just misses the Q.
Barely misses. I'd say Ari has cooldowns down, but
had that last ult charge saving them.
Last ult charge, he knew to be careful, and it looks like Oh, we're just gonna see a little bit of playful banter, a little bit of playful banter.
Yep. Do you
Because
see
of that roam.
we did see Gwen pinging out that TP, so got to be aware of that. Jax does have TP down, so, could be a 5v4 for Depauw. Do see Gwen TPing in, see Ori TPing in. So what was a 4v3 turning into a 5v4 to Depauw. Jax will be late to this team fight. Viego finding the kill on Lee Sin, but Gwen trading one back on Lee Sin. 1-for-1 right now. Depauw with the advantage, having River Prio. And it looks like they will secure this third dragon. Oh, Jax wanting to walk in here. See if they decide. Oh, finds a charm on the backside on this Rakan. Looks like Valpo will go in here. Jax with a 1v1 on the top. But Orianna do have a 3v3 down here. Gwen still has ultimate up and just snipping away. And will find 3 members there. Aphelios finding that last one. And Jax was not able to finish off the kill on this top side on this Orianna or Rakan. So, I mean, Valpo able to find the charm on Rakan, but he was able to run away. And Gwen just, having that lead, having the Rift Maker and a half, and just kind of taking that lead and running away with it a little bit. So unfortunate for Valpo. I think if they were a little bit more set up there for that dragon, they could have had that contest, started that dragon, and maybe taken it. But they only see 3 members from Depauw and feel like they can contest. But out of nowhere, you see 2 teleports come in, and out of nowhere, Depauw has the numbers advantage in that team fight. So unfortunate for Valpo, and we'll see Gwen extend her lead to 6-1. I mean, that's definitely the biggest scary part for Valpo is this Gwen is huge now.
I was gonna say absolutely a huge problem to deal with. We are gonna see a 3v. Even with a 3v2, just the strength of Aphelios compared to that CS lead, absolutely just giving them enough with the quick route from Xayah doing enough, but problem is Xayah's just down so much gold right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we see him focusing on the Rakan there. It's not really going to do much. You find the stun, but he kind of just jumps out. He is squishy, but very slippery, has a lot of mobility, and we saw, Rakan was the person in that drag fight that did get charmed, did get CC'd, kind of calling for that Rakan pick. But, I mean, both times was able to just jump out.
I was gonna say Valpo Esports has to be. I think Valpo Esports definitely still not out of it, but Valpo Esports really just has to start playing super. Valpo Esports just has to be playing super smart now. But one good team fight can change the tide of this battle, but unfortunately, it is leading towards Depauw at the moment.
I'm not really sure where this win con comes from Valpo, because I feel like, Ari's not a super hyper carry really. Viego doesn't really have the gold that he needs to get back in this game. I mean, maybe he finds a couple good shutdowns if he's able to turn into Gwen at some point. A fight could go crazy. But I mean, if you're playing for Valpo right now, I think you got to discuss, okay, what's our plan moving forward? We're 20 minutes in this game, down 5k here. So I mean, in a bad spot. Game is still winnable, but I mean, kind of making a strategic plan, coming up with a win con, because to be honest, like, I don't really see a big obvious win con for Valpo in this situation. I mean, you could say, okay, play for soul, but do see a Braum ult come out, do see the cleanse, so nothing really ended up, just trading some summoners, ultimates back and forth. I mean, I feel like the obvious thing is playing for Dragon, but I mean, it's tough to get vision, get control in there. A lot of turrets down against Valpo, and then you're always just gonna have this looming threat of the Gwen in the side lane. So it's not a great situation for Valpo 20 minutes into this game.
Unfortunately, not the problem. Yeah. Pick. Oh, we are gonna see the R. We're gonna see the charm. We're probably gonna see a little bit of a tower dive here, but no actual damage was traded. This does mean that tier 2 turret on Valpo's side is unfortunately taken.
Those 6 Void Grubs are just doing an insane amount of damage there.
It's absolutely insane ever since the 14.0 changes. We see the Orianna just trying to poke out. Orianna is alone right now, so if Apple Esports does want to collapse, this could be a good opportunity, but they just don't have enough vision, don't feel confident enough to do so effectively.
So we saw in game 1, Valpo was in a pretty bad position, kind of made a desperation play around Baron that almost worked out. I mean, I feel like they gotta make a play around this Baron before this game gets too far out of control. But they gotta kind of find their moment, because they're gonna have to make a risky play to change the tides of this game to try and even it up. Do you see Depauw kind of working around this Baron, have Gwen in the side lane bot with TP up? So looks like they're either gonna look for a pick on Gwen or try and fight this Baron. But I mean, they got to make a play pretty soon here because eventually, with the Aphelios scaling with this Gwen, this game is going to start to pull away from them. So I feel like, in the next couple minutes here with these objectives coming up, Valpo's got to make their move and got to make it quick.
I was gonna say we also see that Depauw took their 3 out of 3 Rift Heralds, really just making them giving an extra threat to Lee Sin, able to just probably get rid of at least one tower if he's able to. We do see some potential light fighting. Xayah or Dreadful starting to make up their CS lead, but the CS deficit was just so far. They had it's 200 to 152 right now. About 3 kills difference. Ahri and Gwen just kind of saying hello up in top lane. Not too much either side can do. Viego clearing, just watching for any and all vision, trying to maybe get ready for Baron. Lee Sin is on Dragon right now, and the announcement goes out, making Depauw 2 Chemtechs stronger, which even Valpo doesn't have a true, or I should say Valpo has a decent bit of CC, and that those extra tenacity. One getting hit with that airborne, specifically Dikembe. Dikembe gets out, but we're just gonna see a slate from Dreadful. Absolutely horrible engage for Valpo.
Yeah, failed the flash. Do you see Gwen coming in here with the ultimate? We'll have the second charge coming through now. Just shredding with the scissors, able to find the Viego. And this is not really the fight Valpo wanted. Kind of wanted to have like a true 5v5 fight, but kind of just gets picked out in their own jungle here. And that's really because of this Depauw's vision and control around this topside jungle. But Depauw in a really good spot here. Gwen is 7-1. We'll start up this Baron. We'll have 2 members down, jungle down for another 10 seconds for Valpo. So gonna have a pretty uncontested Baron here. We'll see if Valpo decides to go there. Do see pings from Jax heading down to the bot lane. Gonna try and pick up an objective bounty. But I mean, Depauw definitely in control of this game. Extends their lead to about 9k here. Even in Dragons 2-2, and it is not looking good for Valpo at the moment.
It is not looking good for Valpo, but it's not over till you count your final cards, as we've seen in many games, both for and against us. Again, even with Baron, one good or one bad team fight, even especially just catching Gwen out is, I think that's Valpo's win condition.
Yeah, I think if they're able to find a 5v4 without the Gwen, or they're able to collapse, 3-on-1 on the Gwen. But I think all of it is strategy around this Gwen. We either need to force a fight that she's not there, or just force a massive collapse on her. Because I mean, 7-1, 600k shutdown, almost at 3 items with Baron is going to be kind of impossible to stop in a side lane unless you have multiple members kind of committed to it. But anyways, Valpo kind of in a 1-3-1 defense right now. Got to be careful being separated as a team because don't really want to get picked off one by one. But Depauw using this Baron pretty well so far. Able to find this bot tier 2 turret eventually. There it goes. Do have Gwen pushing in this second wave top. Looks like they're just going to let their minions do the work. Valpo looking for engage in the mid lane. We'll have a 4v5. Do have Gwen TPing in. Trying to find a pick before Gwen drops. Flashing away though. And do have the Orianna ult picking up 2 there. Braum goes down. Ahri goes down. There goes the Viego, and that will be 3 members down for Valpo, and it looks like Depauw will be able to close out game 3 here. And yeah, there goes Gwen with the flash forward with the ultimate. I think that's going to do it for the series here. Jax falling as well. Xayah not having ultimate, not really having the wave clear. Death timers are a little bit too long at this time, and with the Baron with those 6 Void Grubs, Depauw is going to end this game and find the win in game 3. And the series goes 2-1 to the favor of Depauw. They advance to the NECC Finals. Unfortunately, Valpo Esports going 1 for 2 in these NECC semifinals, and that's a tough defeat for Valpo. To be honest, going into this series, Valpo was pretty outranked, but I mean, definitely playing up to their competition, putting together a good series. But that will conclude the League of Legends season tonight. So, yeah, I mean, they're done for the year now. So we'll see a good amount of these members returning for next year. Steamroller, Super Bear coming back, Jakimbo maybe coming back, Dreadful coming back, Dikembe coming back. So are going to have a lot of these core members of the team returning next year. So really excited to see what this team can do next year. But all in all, great season. In the fall, was able to qualify to GLEC playoffs, NECC playoffs. I believe they lost in the quarterfinals in the fall, but able to make it to the semifinals this spring. Unfortunately, don't think it was the result they wanted today, but I think they had a great season. Really, definitely improved a lot, and went toe to toe with the number one seed in the conference. Was able to force a game three. But yeah, not the result we wanted today. But I think after tonight, you feel sad about the loss, but I think tomorrow they can walk away with their heads high on this season, and be proud of themselves.
I was gonna say taking at the very least taking into the top four for Depauw Esports has been it's been a complete journey the past year the team watching the team and everyone else grow along it. It's been an absolute pleasure. And while the road to NECC for 2024 spring ends here, I was gonna say everyone knows that it's gonna be tomorrow. Pick back up, get back into the game, and start preparing for our next championship. So
Oh heck yeah, let's go, man. Yeah, hopefully maybe a week off. Got finals in school and stuff. But
yeah, that
anyways,
whole school thing.
yeah, but I mean, knowing these guys, they're really hard workers, got great work ethic. I mean, they're probably going to be VOD viewing this game, if not tomorrow, probably tonight. But yeah, I mean, great season for these guys. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get it done today. But we will see you guys tomorrow for MVC Rocket League, Wednesday for MVC Overwatch. I believe we have no games Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, our Super Smash Bros. Team and Overwatch team will be traveling to Ohio for our conference tournament. Along with Friday, our Rocket League team will be playing in the NECC Finals. That will also be streamed here. Putting together a production team for that. But anyways, school's winding down, the season's winding down. A lot of postseason matches here. So a lot of exciting games coming to you guys for the next couple of weeks. So enjoy it while it lasts here, and we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But have a good night, guys. It's been a pleasure. My name is Henry Speedy Killer Ninja.
My name is Adam Monsieur, and thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight.
Yep.